I think we just lost Hunter. We're bringing him right back. But without further ado, sorry for the delay there. Welcome back to Wager Talk TV here for First Pitch, a 7-day-a-week show. Before we get started and we move forward and introduce our guests, I just want to once again, just like I did yesterday, announce that coupon code MLB10. Marco, I believe that's applicable for you as well. $10 off of any play, not just MLB, NFL, college football, or any sport right now. We do it a lot of monthly package sales, a lot of 90-day and stuff like that. So I wanted to get one for our co-hosts here for the daily pick packages, $10 off anything daily. I'll start with you, Marco. How are things?
Good. Coming off a 2-0 night last night after a rough Tuesday. Wasn't fun. Couple games. This is why this business is so fun. I had the over the other night in the Laker game in 125 at the half. I'm smiling, man. And nothing in the second half. And then, as I've talked about so many times about road teams in doing the run line plays, another LA team stuck it to me on Tuesday night. Score 4 in the top of the 10th, laying a run and a half, only to give up 3 in the bottom of the inning for the 1-run. No win, -1.5. But we bounced back nice yesterday. So looking forward, got a little steam going into the weekend.
Yeah, kind of the opposite for myself, actually. I had a 3-0 Tuesday, and then yesterday, 0-2. So, you have good days and bad days. I had a Korean baseball winner to start the day. And as Dave knows, it's always a good way to start the day. How are you doing, Dave?
I had a weird night last night because I got involved in 2 games and ended up with 2 pushes. So I had the under first 5 in the Reds-Cubs game, which I've got no chance in. None. 3 of the first 4 batters score. And nobody ever scored again. So I ended up with a push. Unfortunately, this was one time where first 5 hurt me rather than helped me. But I didn't lose anything. And some people won that. There was some 3.5 out there, but I graded it as a push. And the other was the Oakland A's. I played them -1, and they won by 1. But the money line was the favorite, which won. The runs line was a dog, which lost. So that ends up 0-0. Oakland should have won the game by more, but they just didn't hit with the men on. But, hey, look, no problem there. And really, I just haven't had any bad nights to speak of. So I'm pretty pleased with the way things are going. I can tell you what I've got up right now. I've got 3 college football games, including one that's a free play. So you can get that. You can follow me on Twitter at Dave Koken. It's there. Or you can go to my Wager Talk homepage. It's there. I got a 5% play. I very rarely have those in anything. But over the past 12 months, that's 71%. So when I do put one up, it's at least on paper, it's a really good play. And then one other game as well. I just put up my NFL best bet for Sunday. I won't be playing tonight's game. But I do have an NFL best bet on Sunday that I think is a very good selection. That's available. I played the hockey game tonight. I played 2 small 2% plays on that, and 1 baseball best bet. So it sounds like a lot, but I've actually only got 2 games going tonight, so it's not really as much as it sounds like.
You're just well prepared. You're ready to go for the weekend, Dave. I love to hear it. And then for everybody out there watching, head over to Wager Talk and grab a play in advance. You know, the longer that you start to buy plays for, I always tell people that message me, don't just buy a play on Sunday that's happening on Sunday. You know, that play is going to be there. The game is going to happen. There's nothing wrong with buying a play on $9 Monday. It's going to be happening on Sunday.
Particularly since most of us, I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I think it's true for Marco and Hunter as well. And I know it is for you as well. Listen, the NFL game I played for Sunday, I played it today because I don't think that line's going to be there on Sunday. And it's on a key number. So get it now, because that half point, which I think might get involved as far as the spread is concerned, you want to have the right side of that half point now. So that's why I try and get my stuff out when I think the optimum price is out there.
I always tell people when I'm going around my home city here in Halifax, Dave, when I tell them what I do, and they ask, like, what's the biggest advice you'd give for me for betting the NFL or betting any sport, really? And I would say, don't just bet 5 minutes before the game starts, or don't bet the day of. Get that early number. Move over to Hunter Engelhardt over at Sports Memo. Everyone's asking him about the newborn at home. I'll start with you, Hunter. How are things with that, and how's the handicapping going?
Things are good with that. Just had first doctor appointment, so we're good on that. And I'm going to talk about what Dave said about getting them early, especially NFL. I completely agree. I'm actually about to release my 4% play for this week sometime after the show today, and I think that line is going to change as well. So I'm going to be putting that in here after the show, and switching back to baseball now, which is why everyone's here. I'm on a 15-6-3 run in baseball, so I'm hitting about 71.5% through my last, I guess whatever that would be, 20-something plays. So still feeling it, still good, and really like the card today.
It's one of those things right now, Dave. You know, we can't make this up. It seems like every guest, every panelist that we're having on is hot in at least one or two sports right now. Marco, the entire Wager Talk family and Sports Memo, it's just been a great past couple months. So you love to see it, and like Hunter said, without further ado, we'll get right into the games. I want to start with the Phillies. Go ahead.
Because this is important. Tony Mack put a good question up here. If I get the 3-day access today, will that include Sunday's plays? Well, yeah, because for me, that play is up now. So in other words, you get anything that's posted. It's not forwardly posted so that it doesn't show up until Sunday. So in other words, if you buy my package today, you've got everything that I've got up right now and that I put up over the next 3 days. So the fact that there's a Sunday game that I posted today doesn't mean you have to wait till Sunday. That's the whole point, is that you get the games right away.
Hey, Andrew, just to add something to Dave for listeners, when you sign up for something like that, where guys already have plays loaded, you always get emails from the site the minute the capper loads a play. But if there is a play that's already been loaded, you're not going to see that email. So I always suggest that customers go to their page, log into their account, and click My Plays. This way, if Dave already released something earlier in the week for Saturday, you're not going to see the email, but you'll see the play there.
Excellent point. And I've had some questions about that as well, so I'm happy that was answered there. We'll get right into the games, guys. We're going to start with the Astros A's. Total of 9 here. A's around -140. I'll start with you, Marco.
Yeah, you look at Oakland, and Dave, I was on them last night too, but I didn't go with the run line. I went ahead and laid the price. I was confident in the A's because I have no confidence in the Houston Astros right now. This is a team, they're 1-7 in their last 8 games, and we've talked about teams that we might want to start just fading at some point, that they're going to quit. If this streak doesn't turn around real quick for Houston, I think the season can slip away from them. With given everything that's happened to them in the offseason, this is a team that I think would throw the towel in because I don't think they have any backbone. And I look at this Oakland team. They have been a team that has been very good in daylight games. They're 12-6 this year in day games. And another quirky stat, people talk about they don't care about days of the week stats. I do for certain situations, the Mondays, the Thursdays, whenever it's the first day of the week, who comes to play. That's a big point for me. And then Thursday is always known as the getaway day in baseball. Well, most of those getaway games, a lot of times you'll see day games. The last 2 seasons, the A's are 16-5 on Thursdays. For me, there's no way I want any part of Houston in this one. They're just 6-14 on the road. And Manaea, little stat for him, he's pitching well again. And when he's on the mound following an outing that he only gave up 1 run, 20-7 to the under in his career. So I'm looking at Oakland and I'm looking at the under, but my side would be take Oakland for making a play.
Yeah, no disagreement here. I didn't play it. It's a little pricey for me. I didn't want to go in the 140 range on the A's, but I do think they're the right side in the game. Urquidy, it's not the worst young pitcher in the world, and I think his first since he arrived in the majors last year, he's actually got good numbers first time through the lineup. And a little worried about the Oakland lineup. I have not checked lineup, but I'm assuming Chapman is out again. And that is, I know he's not hitting, but boy, I mean, he's such a good defender. They still lose something with him out. I just think it's priced about right, and I didn't see the value in taking the A's, but I do expect them to win the game.
Marco, the stat that you lay out there with the days of the week, I mean, for me, I think a lot of stats like that, they're a little bit weirder. They're not like a dominant one, but it's a day of the week. But hey, that's a strong number. I mean, that's not really a small scale. It's over a large scale. So a lot of times we don't know why this team is playing better. Maybe it's their lineup they're putting out on that certain day, but they're just performing better. So, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think that anyone should look towards a stat that's as dominant as that is. Hunter, a lot of the chat room here is saying the A's is the play here. Are you with them as well?
Well, I don't disagree with what Marco said about how this Houston team is cold right now, but if you're a dog player, you like to take dogs, I don't think it's a terrible play to bet the Houston first 5 of this one. I think Oakland has a possibility to win the game. I think it's priced a little steep, but for that reason, Manaea against certain hitters that Houston has, like Springer, Bregman, Gurriel, Maldonado, and Reddick, lifetime numbers against Manaea. They're all hitting over 300. A couple of them have OPSs over 1. So that is one reason why I'm not going to lay that price on the A's. If you do like to take dogs, like I said, I don't think this is a terrible spot to put Astros money line first 5. Urquidy, I don't know the exact way to pronounce it, but small sample size, 3.2 innings, had some location problems, 3 walks his last appearance. But in 2019 against this Oakland A's team, I know that it's not the same, but he threw 5 innings and only gave up 1 earned run and struck out 10 against Oakland last year. So he has had some success against Oakland, which is the reason why I'm not on Oakland. I'm not actually playing this game at all. But if I had to suggest a possible dog spot, I think the Houston Astros first 5 for this price is potentially worth it.
And Hunter, we're seeing Cornell here, a loyal viewer here to First Pitch, talking about Houston record on the road and some streaks they've had just in general. But how much do you take that into account right now with this team?
I would take it into some account here if the numbers against more than half of the lineup Houston is throwing out there, if less than half of the lineup was hitting 300 or better against Manaea, I would take that into consideration. But lifetime batting average against is with hitters and pitchers lineup. I mean, 6 guys that hit over 300 is eye-opening to me, especially with multiple at bats. This isn't just 3 or 4 at bats. This is in the double digits at bats.
Just a couple of notes, by the way. Obviously, Chapman is still out for Oakland, and they're going with Helm behind the plate today. It's not their optimum lineup. Houston has they've got their entire top core out there: Springer, Bregman, Brantley, Gurriel, Tucker, Correa, Reddick, Diaz, Maldonado. So they don't have Mayfield and they don't have Toro in the lineup, which is always a good thing if you're an Astros fan, because those 2 guys suck.
Once again, guys, that's coupon code MLB10 to get $10 off any package, any pick daily package up at both Wager Talk and Sports Memo from any panelists right here on the First Pitch crew. Applicable for NFL, college football, NBA, you name it, everything that you can grab. Quick little plug for myself. I do have a best bet posted for the game tonight. Kansas City in action, looking to start off their title defense. So I haven't played in action for the opener of the NFL season. You can grab that and use the coupon code MLB10 for $10 off. Hunter, I feel like it's only right to throw this right back to you here. We'll go in reverse order this time. Hunter followed by Dave. Phillies at the Marlins here.
Well, interesting stat here. Phillies are 5-0 this year after an off day. So you need to look at that, as well as Miami. I don't know if any of you guys watched that game last night where they gave up 29 runs, but that's exhausting for me even to watch. I'm a little tired this morning watching that for them. But I think the Phillies, it's interesting. You see the first half price is actually in plus money, but the full game is right around even with minus 105 to 110 I'm seeing. So the odds are really, favoring the Marlins against Arrieta, which I can't blame. He's been the biggest question mark of the year so far, but he is coming off a good outing against the Mets. He was throwing a lot of strikes. I think he only gave up 1 or 2 runs in 7 innings, so that's good to see. But I think there's an extreme value on the Phillies first half in this situation, but I do like the full game a little more.
Well, yeah, and I think I'd agree with that point. In terms of the Phillies, even though their bullpen is atrocious, you kind of want their offense out there for 9 innings. The Marlins, sometimes I can kick myself. I wasn't involved in the Marlins game yesterday, but if you watched yesterday's show, I was talking about Pablo Lopez and the fact that I didn't like the fact that he'd had some command issues in his prior start and kind of beat himself in that game, and that young pitchers, even talented young pitchers, go through stretches like this. And I was worried about the command issues again showing up last night, and boy, did they ever, because he just got himself in. They had a 2-0 lead, and then the second inning, holy cow! I mean, he just fell apart. Mattingly left him out there too long, and it was just a train wreck from that point on. So hindsight's 20/20, but kind of had that right and didn't take advantage of it. Alcantara is another guy who. I'm not as high on him as I am on Lopez. I think he's okay, but he's a tough guy to handicap. I think he's outpitched some of his abilities. Not really sold on him. We'll see. I think the Phillies have a chance to get to him. Arrieta is completely unpredictable at this point. He was very good last start out. The time before that, Marco could have gotten hits off him. So, he's tough to call. This is one of those games where I think it actually comes down to the offenses. And there's a big difference. Philadelphia is about a 1.5 better on offense per 9 innings than Miami. That's a big differential. And I think it's the reason that the Phillies are the right side in this game.
Marco, we've had some fun, talking about bullpens in this league here. And I know that I've heard Hunter numerous times say if you're playing the Phillies, playing them first 5. Would you agree with that?
For most cases, yes, but that would not be the case tonight. I'm going to be on the other side, first 5 in this one. I like Miami here. Yeah, they were embarrassed last night, 29-9. There's no way you can sugarcoat last night's performance. But I'm looking at Arrieta here, and yes, he came off a gem in his last game. But the reason he came off a gem is because he had one of his worst starts. Well, he had his worst start of the season, might have been one of his worst starts of his career. He couldn't get out of the second inning. And you've heard me talk about it so many times. Veteran pitchers, after they're embarrassed like that, they generally will follow up with a good effort because they're going to be totally focused coming into that game. My question is he going to be focused for a second game? Now, if you go back, skip that last game, which was good after being embarrassed. If you look at the previous 4 games, 3 of the 4, he has gotten hit hard. And I think Miami's going to get to him in the beginning of this game. Now, once we get to the, when Alcantara leaves the game, do I want any part of the Marlins? Hell no. The bullpen is spent after last night and the last few games. I'm making a first 5 inning, and Vegas is telling you, look how much of a split is on this game. You're always going to see the starting pitchers weighed into the first 5 innings, but this is a bigger split than you normally see, and that's telling me confirming what I already know, that Miami, I think, starting pitching wise in this one has the huge edge, and I'm going to go ahead, take Miami first 5, and think they come out firing tonight.
Yeah, this was one of those ones that I was really thinking that we'd see some split decisions and a lot of different opinions, not only from you guys, but the chat room as well. Very, very preference based. And like you said, Vegas, you've seen it's very split down the middle. I want to ask you, Marco, any traditions, anything that any special event or plans for the opening night of the NFL tonight?
I'm probably going to have a big plate of chicken wings involved somehow.
Okay. You can't go wrong with that. You can't argue with that. What about you, Dave? Anything special?
Just Thursday night for me.
Just a Thursday night?
Sorry, I can't get, I'm an old guy who's been doing this for a long time, and I just don't get worked up over, it's football's back. Okay, good.
I have, so much respect for you and so many of the Wager Talk people that I get to work with. I never think of you as an old guy, Dave. Honestly, like I never. If we're ever going to make.
Well, I'm not young, I'm not young, and the thing is that I've been involved in gambling my whole life, so it's just another day for me. It's just a busier day. If I was still answering the phones, it'd be a lot busier day because the whole world's going to be betting tonight. But I don't know. I mean, when you're a professional gambler or a professional handicapper, it's just business as usual every day to me.
Yeah, I hear you with that. And as far as that stuff goes, but you saying that business as usual, I'm just an older guy. Dave knows technology, I think, better than most people over 50 that I know, including most of my relatives. So hats off.
Jesus, I ought to listen. I mean, not for nothing, but I mean, I got lucky in the genetic department. My dad worked on the atom bomb. Okay, I mean, he was a technical engineer on the Manhattan Project. So I come from pretty good genes, and he had a home computer before anybody I know. So I kind of got involved with the computer at a pretty young age. So it's not it's just luck of the draw.
Yeah, I had someone yesterday say to me, aren't you a diehard hockey fan? Like, why aren't you watching that game? I was like, hey, like I'm obviously a sports bettor. I like to watch, games that I have action on and stuff like that, but and study the sports. But hey, I'm a diehard Raptors fan. Sometimes you have to have some personal fun as well and watch the team that you grew up watching.
That's why I do have teams that I root for in sports that I don't handicap. I'm really big on the team Minnesota curling. Those guys
we're gonna go,
especially the girls. They got a pretty hot blonde on the Minnesota female curling team, and I'm a fan. By the way, I made that all up. I have no idea if there's a team Minnesota curling team.
I'm looking her up right now. Reds and Cubs, Marco. I'll throw it back to you.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's been a power outage in Chicago. You look at the Cubs, they've been held to 3 runs or less 5 of their last 6 games. In the Reds, they've been held to 3 runs or less in 4 of the last 5. And thus we saw it last night. As Dave said, 3 of the first 4 guys scored and nothing after that. When do you ever see a 6.5 on a game in Wrigley, wind blowing in or not? These teams aren't hitting right now. And the Reds, they have been the biggest mystery to me this year. It seems like if I jump on them, they stink. If I bet against them, they do what they did last night. Fortunately, I wasn't involved in last night's game. But Sonny Gray's coming off his worst outing of the year, maybe one of his worst outings of his career. He got shelled in his last one. And as I said, generally, veteran pitchers are going to bounce back after a bad outing, unless there's some type of injury, which we've heard, nothing about that. And you look at Sonny Gray, the last 3 times he's faced the Cubs, he has absolutely owned them. He's given up just 2 runs in 19-plus innings against the Cubs. Cubs, when they're installed as an underdog, they don't do well. They are 12-27 as an underdog of 150 or less. I can't back the Cubs here. I got a weak vote for Cincinnati just because they've been my albatross team with me, but that's the side I lean to.
I guess I do too. I like Gray to bounce back. Alzolay, a lot of problems finding the plate in his cup of coffees last year and this year in the major leagues. And, that's a problem. I don't want guys who walk guys, and he's had an issue with that. I guess my problem is I don't want to lay a price with the Reds. So I'm going to stay out of it, but I would think Sonny Gray has a good outing here. And the Cubs were completely overwhelmed last night by Trevor Bauer. So, they could be in an offensive slump here. That's to me is a plus for Gray, is that the Cubs did nothing last night against Bauer.
Hunter, you're rolling over at Sports Memo. I know you can find them on Twitter as well. You've been tweeting out some free plays, some strikeout case props, which has been great. Finding those prop wagers. You have a 4% play coming up, being posted to the website. When can people expect to see your packages posted to that website and they can go grab them from you?
My NFL 4% is going to be put up today, and I already have a couple plays loaded for MLB today. I'm thinking about adding one more. I'm going to take a little more look at it at the end of the show, but I do plan to release an MLB 2-pack within an hour or two after we're at the show today.
Excellent. And Reds and Cubs for you?
Well, I agree with what both these guys said. I think Sonny Gray will bounce back. But usually when you see a guy who's been so dominant throughout the year like Sonny Gray, it's a little different with Arrieta. Arrieta's kind of always been a question mark, but he got absolutely lit up in and he's just still a question mark, in my opinion. Sonny Gray, we know he's a good pitcher. He's been dominating all year. But when you see a pitcher who's been that dominant all year just get absolutely destroyed, what that tells me is somebody picked up on something, whether he's tipping pitches or one pitch he throws in a particular count that isn't as sharp, or things that he's doing and showing a pattern of, which the hitters can pick up and kind of zone in on that weakness or that repetition of something that he's doing. So the only thing that's keeping me off the Reds here is that aspect. I'm thinking maybe somebody figured something out that's around the league where he's, in 1-2 counts, he likes to throw curveball outside, and when 2 strikes, they're only looking curveballs. Just, it could be anything really. So that's really what worries me there. When we look at Alizé, another thing that, like Dave said, he's trouble finding the strike zones, but he's got 12 Ks in 8.2 innings. Actually, batters are hitting 308 when there's no runners on. They're hitting 59 when there's runners on, and they're hitting 0 against him when they're in scoring position. And that's not like 1 or 2 at-bats. That's 10 people in scoring position. He didn't allow a hit. And when there were 17 people on, batters are hitting 59 off him. So when I look at the combination of these two, I think Sonny's going to have a rebound. But I usually don't bet full games. But I think this is a game where a full game under, I'm seeing it at 7.5. If I can get it at 7.5 for no more than -115, I really don't hate it.
Hunter, on Twitter, at the Engelhart. Go ahead, Dave.
No, we're getting some questions in chat that I think we should answer. And Robert McIntosh is asking about.
I was going to post that. I was going to put it up. Yeah, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
You can answer. There isn't any particular good price. It depends on each game. It depends on what you set your line, what you made the price on a particular game, and what the price is. So it can be a game where you made the price 260 and it's 200. Well, the -200 is a decent value play. There's no set price. Every game is individual. That's why.
Dave, if you can you elaborate on yesterday's question about the whole totals thing that you were saying? I understand what you're talking about, but changing from going from the hook to the lower number for that juice. Explain to the viewers why, with a money line, you don't mind sometimes laying over price. With that totals, you don't want to do that.
Well, for me, it's just simply that I'm for totals, I'm almost exclusively starting pitcher. Mm-hmm. So it's basically just first 5 innings for me on almost all the totals I play. I rarely play a full game total because I don't play a lot of overs. So if I were playing more overs, I'd be looking for more full games. But so it's 2 different. It's like 2 different sports. I don't make a line as far as totals are concerned, whereas I do for the straight up version of the game. Totals, I'm just looking to get what I think are dominant starting pitcher stats in the categories that I like as far as unders are concerned. And then I play it first 5 so I don't have to worry about the bullpens. Sometimes that hurts me. Good example of that was last night. It hurt me in the Cubs-Reds game because I played the first 5 under and ended up with a push on that. If I'd have played the full game, I'd have won it. But more often than not, it works in my favor. At least I think it does.
And I know, Dave, that you make your own numbers every day. And this isn't me, patting you on the back or boosting your tires. It's just a fact. I'm pretty sure a lot of the times you're relatively in the ballpark. My question to you, and this is coming from me, not the chat room, is that how much of a difference does the number have to be that the odds display versus what you make for you to stay off?
It depends on the game because I want to add this factor in the situational stuff as well. But if it's a 20-cent difference on a low line game, that's a lot bigger difference than a 20-cent difference on a big line game.
Right. Once again, guys, we see the Wager Talk mention here in the chat room, but I want to just mention it myself. I think we have the most loyal viewership here on First Pitch. I'm involved in a few other shows, mainly just Puck Time, and as much as I love working with those guys and being a part of that show, I've really seen it from all of you guys in this chat box. I'm sure Dave can agree. He's on it 7 days a week. He's on the weekends as well. We appreciate you guys all tuning in. As Dave would like, please gently touch that like button and let us know you've enjoyed this video and you're enjoying First Pitch here this week so far, and help us out there with the YouTube algorithm. Leave a comment as well in the videos. And if you ever see us don't get to a question, and I do try and look at it all the time, comment it. I look at all the comments every single day after the first pitch in the evening. If you do not see us answer your questions, I give you my word, We will talk about it the next day on the show, 100%, because this show is not possible without you guys doing it. We'll move into our next segment, the MLB Quick Hit segment. Start with the Angels taking on the Rangers. Interesting series, to say the least. We'll throw it to you here, Marco, with this one.
Yeah, I'm going to look at the over in this one, and it's the only way I can go. The only bright spot for the Angels have been Dylan Bundy, but I look for him not to be able to go the entire game, obviously. Once they turn it over to the bullpen, we're seeing the Angels bullpen do what they've done most of the year. Look at the last games, how many runs they've been giving up on a consistent basis now. It's been 6 straight games. They've allowed 5 runs or more. And we've got Gibson on the mound for Texas. I want no part of him. This is a guy that's been tattooed all season long. And 2 quick stats for you. The Angels are 17-5 to the over off of 2 straight road losses to division rivals. And the Angels, Gibson, 16 in his career, 16-1 to the over when he pitches at home in the month of September. Now, I'll put the asterisk to that and say this is a different September, because when you're talking Septembers, a lot of times you've got pitchers dealing with arm fatigue and stuff like that. So obviously we don't have those issues, but it's still a number worth quoting.
I want to mention as well, we're doing value plays now over at wagertalk.com. Thursday, just $11 for the value play of the day. Robbie Vino, plus 232% bankroll increase the last 12 months. College football best bet for Thursday, discounted from $25 to $11. So that's up for grabs at wagertalk.com. I mean, 232% bankroll increase last 12 months. That's insane. That is just outstanding work there from Rob Vino. And I also want to mention a guy that's not on the show today, was on the show yesterday, an underdog bettor that I've learned definitely knows how to find those spots, Brian Leonard. MLB underdog of the month today, 4%, coming off a big winner yesterday, plus 175. This guy is not afraid to find these big price dogs. Hats off to Brian. So I wanted to mention that, although he isn't on the show today. Go grab that play, guys, and enjoy. I mean, it seems like he's really able to find those winners. Dave?
Oh, and the Angels Rangers. Yeah, Bundy's been good, and he's in good form. Gibson's got better metrics than his base numbers would indicate, but he's still not a guy I want to go with. The Rangers have won a couple in a row, which is a new thing for them. So a little positive momentum for a team that's really been struggling. I don't think I want to lay this price with the Angels. I doubt that I will lay this kind of a price with the Angels the rest of the year, because they're just kind of finishing things off. They're not going to be in the playoffs. And to me, it's dangerous laying big prices in games that feature a couple of teams that are just, waiting for this to end.
Anything you like here, Hunter?
I'm not on a side. I think these guys pretty much covered it, but this brings me, I have 2 pitcher props to give out today. I like Dylan Bundy under 5.5 strikeouts. I know he struck out 8 against Houston, but like we already discussed, Houston is a team who's kind of been struggling lately, which brings me into my other strikeout prop, which is Manaea over 3.5 strikeouts against the Houston Astros, only because if I'm a pitching coach and I look at his splits, like I said, against 6 of those guys, they're hitting over 300. That tells me that he's not pitching enough. He's not pitching enough outside of the strike zone to these guys. So I expect him to throw some outside, inside, to try to get these guys to chase a little more. And only 3.5 strikeouts. I mean, four strikeouts in a start isn't a reach, in my opinion. And with Bundy, I don't think he's going to get 6 strikeouts today. I know he struck out 8 last appearance, but he's faced mostly Seattle and Oakland, who tend to strike out a lot, in my opinion. So I think under 5.5 for Bundy and Manaea over 3.5 are my 2 pitcher props today.
Love the prop wagers. Love it. Thanks a lot for mentioning those, Hunter. And Dave, I don't want Hunter to think you were laughing at anything he said, so I'll let you tell us what you were laughing.
I'm just laughing at, who is it, Mutt Clips? Interesting name. Koken never wins. Well, I really hope, since you are kind of an asshole, I already know that, because that's what most trolls are. I really hope you've been fading me all summer.
Oh my God.
And by the way, I hope you keep doing so.
Because it's working out for you so far, Dave. Hunter, I want to go back to you. We'll go in reverse order here. Detroit, this Tigers team. Let's hear your thoughts on this Tigers. Let's get a Hunter rant. I mean, I want to hear what you think about this team because it's just laughable every day to see what they're up to.
Honestly,
I apologize to the Detroit office for saying that, but Tigers versus Cards here, Hunter.
honestly, I don't think I've been involved in a Tigers bet this year. I've maybe watched less than 9 innings total of any Tigers game at all. Even when they were winning, I didn't believe the hype, didn't watch. And Jack Flaherty against them starting here soon. I mean, enough said. I'm just completely staying off them. I don't mess with any Detroit Tigers games.
Well, I don't. It's I keep having to say this. I don't get involved in the doubleheaders.
Right.
So
Marco?
I got nothing to say.
Same for me, especially when you're looking at a doubleheader where you got two big prices here with this one. Nothing for me in the Tigers. And yeah, we're seeing the real Tigers. They're coming, as Dennis Green said, they are what we thought they are.
I don't get why that saying is so funny, but it's just hilarious when you see a team that's like overachieving and then they start really coming back to what you thought they were. And it just sounds so fitting. They are what they thought we are. Atlanta taking on Washington. We'll get your thoughts here to start, Marco. This number has jumped up a little bit here. Is it anything you're interested in laying?
No, I'm not going to lay the game here, but I'm going to go with the total. And let me just say, is there a team in Major League Baseball that has a more opposite lefty-righty record than the Washington Nationals? This is a team that's 10-3 against lefties. They pound the baseball nearly 7 runs a game when they face a lefty. And then when they face a right-hander, 6-22. I mean, I've seen a lot of different, we talk home road dichotomy and stuff. That's a pretty, bizarre split for a team. And they're going to be facing a lefty tonight in Ireland that's not pitching well right now. He's got 4 starts, in his last 3 games. He's been getting hit, ERA of over 6. But we look at Austin Voth, and here's a guy that's been even worse. He's got an ERA of 8.26, a whip of 1.83 in 7 starts. In his last 3, if those weren't bad enough, it's even worse, 13.93 the last 3 games. I'm looking at the over. Washington 10-2 to the over versus lefties this year. That's no surprise since they're averaging almost 6.9 runs per game. And one stat for Atlanta, if you are looking, I don't want to lay this number with Atlanta, but they are 9-0 as a road favorite this season. I'm looking at the over for the play. Over 11, it's a big number, but current form in that laugher they had last night with Atlanta, pitchers might, have gotten into a little groove in the baseball with a big lead. I'll go ahead and take the over 11.
Well, that number's gone up too. So it looks like, the market is definitely lined up on the over because it was 10 last night. Now it's 11. I can't argue against it. I mean, Erlin's been bad, and he's a lefty. As Marco already outlined, the Nationals have been doing very well against lefties. And Voth has been horrific. He's had 5 bad starts in a row. Sometimes you can look at a high ERA and say, well, he's had bad luck or something like that. But he's just been bad. Hey, look, he's one of those. He's one of those organizational guys who probably shouldn't be in the majors. Vought's been around since like 2012, 2013. So he's basically just a quad A guy. I mean, it sure looks like there's going to be some runs here, but there's always a but involved. And it's
everybody loves butts though.
Well, that's why I'm not in the game. It's going from 10 over to 10.5 over and some 11, slightly juiced to the under. I mean, you kind of missed the boat if you like the over. And I say this continually, if you intentionally take the worst of the number, you're going to lose in the long run. It's as simple as that.
Hunter, everybody hates inconsistency. Marco let us off here talking about that, just the up and downs of this team here. Is there a play to make on this game? And first of all, would you lay that price here tonight?
No, I'm not going to lay that price. But like Dave said, I completely agree with what Marco said. I I have nothing to come back to say that I can't agree with him, especially after an off day. Washington's 3-1 after an off day, and like he said, and like we've talked about, they really do hit lefties, and we know the Braves team has been able to hit the baseball a little bit. So full game, 6 is a little high for me. First 5, if I had to play over under, it'd be the over full game.
KC taking on Cleveland here. I had Brian Leonard messaging me yesterday about that underdog price on KC. How do you feel about it today, Hunter?
This is a game where Savali, in my opinion, is a question mark. I know he's been tearing it up, striking guys out and stuff, but I still think he's a question mark in my opinion. And Brady Singer, with these rookies who throw hard, we see it in Newcomb and some other guys that are new to the league that are flamethrowers. Sixto Sanchez, we see that with him too. Is they throw hard and they get strikeouts, but it's pretty much a coin flip if they're going to dominate or not. So, in my opinion, I don't hate the Royals in this situation just because I think Singer could go off tonight. But in my opinion, I'm off it.
I'd have to go with the favorite. I'm not going to at this price, but the Indians look right to me. Savali's been really good at home for the most part, and some troublesome numbers on Singer. Not that he's bad. He's a rookie with promise. I think, in fact, he's probably been better than his ERA indicates. But first time through the lineup, numbers aren't good. And Indians could get ahead early in this game. And generally speaking, if the Indians get ahead, that's pretty much it.
Marco, we'll get your thoughts here on this one, and you can lead us into the next one here with the Red Sox and the Rays.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to look at the full game, and I'm going to look at the under in this one. Savali, I'll give you a stat for him. His 2 seasons with the Indians, 18 starts, 14 of the 18 have played to the under. I'll go ahead and go under in that one. And Boston at Tampa, this is a spot where, again, we're going to be looking at a big number with Tampa, but I want no part of a Boston team, especially a Boston team that's traveling down to Tampa. They've got nothing to play for. This is a team, Dave's said numerous times, they're just waiting for this season to end. I don't see the motivation with them. Boston, just 4-13 versus lefties this year, but they are averaging over 5 runs per game against lefties. But I got to go with this one. And Boston this year against division opponents, 9-21. If you want to lay the price, it's Tampa. I don't want to do the run line with them. If I would play it, I would bite the bullet and take the money line because I just don't want to have that one less at bat with Tampa. And a lot of times you might get that game where, the offense doesn't show up for Tampa. But this is a spot where I want no part of Boston.
Justin Bilbo here, Dave, real quick. Sorry to cut in here. Sorry, guys, just got here. They talked about the Astros Athletics game. Yet, Justin, it seemed like it was more so a consensus towards the A's. However, Hunter did say if you like the Astros, possibly take a look at that first 5 angle. Thanks a lot for tuning in, Justin Bilbo. Thank you. Over to you, Dave.
If I had to play anything here, I'd go Red Sox team total over. I think they might be able to get some stuff done against Fleming. Don't trust the Boston pitching staff at all. So, just an educated guess, Red Sox team total over.
We'll get your thoughts here, Hunter, and then we'll go continue forwards into the Baltimore Yankees game.
Yeah, the Red Sox are in the group with the Detroit Tigers for me. I try not to bet on them. I bet on them one time. I think it was 2 days ago, first half under, and I lost it by 1 run in the 5th inning. So they're back on my shit list of stay away.
And the Orioles and Yankees?
I think we're looking at Jared Cole here against Atkin. I know Atkin's been really good in my opinion. This Yankees team obviously slipping down the standings. Really everybody's worried about them, and this Orioles team has hit the baseball. So I think this is going to be a good pitching matchup. The Yankees aren't great against left-handed hitters here. I don't think there's going to be a lot of runs scored. I expect we're going to see Jared Cole, the normal Jared Cole. I'm not on it myself. This is a game I do plan to look at a little more after this, and I don't know if I'm on a side or a total here, but this is one game that I did want to spend some more time on after the show.
I'm not spending any time in the game. I will just flash this. Cole's given up 6 homers his first time through the batting order, so he's struggling out of the gate. He'll fix that.
This one,
go ahead, Marco.
Andrew, Garrett Cole did show signs of coming back to the Garrett Cole we saw. He did give up 5 runs. Only 1 was earned. The strikeout to walk ratio, though, was 10-2, and a kid has pitched well, but I got to put it out there. He will be facing the Yankees for the second straight start. That takes away a little bit of that advantage that a pitcher, the unknown factor that they had whenever they're coming right back against the same team.
And the next one here, Marco, we've got San Fran, of course, the Padres, Cahill and Paddock. Out of that game or the Dodgers with May and Mad Bum on the mound, is there a play for you in either of those games?
For me, I would take a shot with the Giants as a dog here. I know you're going against, Paddock and everything that he's done, but Paddock this season just has not been the same Paddock that we saw last year. Again, in his last outing, he got roughed up by Oakland, 4 2/3, gave up 4 runs. San Francisco's just playing, they're playing over their heads. I don't want to say that, it is a surprise to me, and I don't want to say it's a fluke because the team, there's just a chemistry about them this season. This is a price where, I'll take a shot with the dog. And the other game, I want no part of Baumgartner. He's coming off that last outing. The only thing I'll say is if there was ever an outing that he was pumped up for, it would have been facing the former team last time out. He hasn't pitched well this year. Could be a spot where he gets lit up again. Might want to look to the over.
Giants, Padres. I guess I'd lean Giants at this price. Paddock is he's just too many home runs. You can be out there and dominating against most hitters, but if that long ball is coming back to haunt him. And first time through the order, OPS 926. That's a little scary. The tough part is Cahill keeps getting hurt, and they have to take him out of the game. And after that, you get the San Francisco bullpen to worry about. But if I had to play the game, I'd take the Giants. As for the Diamondbacks, I mean, it just gets worse for them every day. 2-18 in their last 20. These last 2 losses have been just brutal. And Bumgarner looks like he just looks like he's all done. This might be the Dodgers runs line spot, and they might not need extra innings to get the runs line covered this time.
Dave, I was telling somebody yesterday, actually, one of my friends, about you discussing this Arizona Diamondbacks team, and he was saying how, the more a season goes on, usually with 162 games, you can tell who really cares. But now with these 60 games, you can really tell who cares. And he was on the exact same page as you were about some of these teams.
It's and I think the Diamondbacks have played really hard the last couple of days, but they've just arrived at that point where if there's a mistake to be made, they'll make it. And again, last night I think it was the 10th inning. I don't remember who the players involved were, but Chris Taylor gets an extra base because nobody covered second. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's 4 guys running around like Keystone Cops and nobody covered second, and he just kind of ambled in and took an extra base. That's when things are going this badly, you make mental blunders like that, and it seems like every game they manage to do that. So, I mean, I think they've been excited to play the Dodgers the last couple of nights because it's the Dodgers, but they found a way to screw up both games anyway, and I don't know that there's going to be anything left in the tank tonight against Dustin May.
48-minute show, but it's been a blast. It's been a really enjoyable show. Hunter, I'll get you to put a bow on this show, wrap things up for us with the final 2 games on the board.
I won't keep anybody about the Dodgers game, but I think Paddock is priced way too high. I think this is a Padres team that's just getting a bunch of public money just because they're the Padres against the Giants. So I think probably all the sharp money's coming in on the Giants. Chris Paddock has not been good against left-handed hitters at all. He's walked 8 out of 102 at-bats to lefties and only walked 1 to 83 at-bats against righties. Lefties are hitting 284 off him, and this San Francisco Giants have some pretty dangerous left-handed hitters. So in my opinion, if I had to play a side, I think I would play the dog in this situation, but I'm definitely not going to pay the price for San Diego.
Anthony, Johnny Outlaw, Christian, TJ, Cornell, Alex, Jim, Sabino, Elliot, all of you guys, thank you very much for joining us. For Dave Koken, Marco D'Angelo, Hunter Engelhardt, have a great night. Good luck with your wagers and enjoy the NFL action tonight. We will see you tomorrow right here, Wager Talk TV for First Pitch.